Hi, welcome back to Frankie and Lola. This time we learn how to live in the short bus. We were going on our first trip with another couple, and all four of us were very excited about going on this trip. We were very excited when we found what would be our first motorhome. We found it in Bryan, Texas, which is about 100 miles from our house. We made a list of everything we thought we would need for the short bus, which is basically like furnishing a second home. It turned out to be a really big list. When Frankie and I went shopping to several stores, we each took a cart to buy all the kitchen items and bedding items and everything else we thought that we would need. Everything was washed and bagged up for the inside of the bus, and we put it on the dining room table, the dining room chairs, and all around the dining room. There was also a new tarp on the floor of the garage, and everything for the outside compartments was placed on the tarp. The day finally came for us to pick it up. While Frankie signed all the paperwork at the dealership, I got a lesson on where everything is in the bus and how to use it. The salesman was very thorough, and I took a lot of notes on how to use everything, since I knew I would have to show Frankie how to do everything that he taught me. We had planned to go from our home in Houston to Luckenbach, Texas on our very first weekend with the short bus. We were going to Luckenbach to go to the Harvest Classic European and Vintage Motorcycle Rally. Frankie had gone to this event many times before. I was really looking forward to going to this show for the first time. I was even more excited about riding my motorcycle in the hill country for the first time. Early on the morning that we were to pick up the short bus, all four of us had our bags packed and in the dining room ready to go. When we got home, we finally parked the motorhome in the street, and the guys hooked up the trailer with all the motorcycles on it. One thing we learned about the brochure is what this phrase means. When they say the cabinet is empty for you to configure it to your liking, I think what it basically means is we're too cheap to put shelves in there. We tried several configurations of ready-made plastic drawer units, but none of them really worked. Later, we finally had to make custom shelves ourselves, and those worked really well. There's a lot of good stuff at the Container Store that we found, and we used it in ways other than how it was originally intended to be used. The tray in the microwave had to be padded also so it didn't bounce around and make a lot of racket going down the road. I used a towel, but later made a little pouch for it with that towel and some Velcro. We also had to pad all the baking pans in the oven so they didn't rattle all over the place going down the road. Rubber shelf liner and hand towels are also good tools to use to keep things from rattling in the bus. I also found a tall and skinny coffee maker that fit just right in the cabinet, as well as an inexpensive toaster that worked well also. One really clever trick we saw on YouTube was to put caulking on the bottom of the dishes so they don't slide all around. This also makes for good padding for them so they don't rattle going down the road. I found a knife holder I really liked at one of the RV supply stores, and we ended up putting that on the inside of a cabinet door. Frankie found a nice cutting board that we put on top of the stove, which also gave us a bit more usable counter space since we really didn't have any to start with. So there's a strange little closet right inside the door of the motorhome, and inside there we put a holder for brooms, and we also decided to put a trash can in there. We even put a USB charger under the table since wall outlets are scarce in such a small bus. We had a very tiny fridge, so I got a lot of condiments in small packets that did not need refrigerating. My favorite tool of all is the $8 handheld bug zapper tennis racket looking thing that we got at Harbor Freight. Maybe the most important thing to learn is where to put the eggs in the fridge. Do not put them on the top shelf. I froze them solid. So we watched several videos from Long Long Honeymoon on YouTube, and I saw that they have a solo stove. I really wanted one, but Frankie was reluctant to spend the money on one. They're kind of pricey. I finally convinced him to try a really small one. We used it on the front porch at the house. It was really fun. We turned off all the outside lights and could almost believe that we were camping. I even roasted marshmallows on the front porch. Frankie was finally convinced to get a big solo stove. And special thanks go to the RV Geeks. We watched their videos several times on how to deal with the holding tanks. We got Elf on the Shelf to empty them for us. Merry Christmas! We had a great time on our first trip and considered it a huge success. Have a wonderful day and thanks for watching.